Hi all, my name is Haley Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology. And today, Sagittarius ascendant, how it is that you see the world and how the world sees you, you lucky Jupiterian. I am so excited to dive into your rising sign, which in my humble opinion is one of the most critical components to dive into within your birth chart. It truly tells you so much. So I will be talking about the rising sign as a two-way mirror, exploring both how it is that you see the world, your mindset, your priorities, as well as how the world sees you, the vibe you give off, your energy, even your appearance is indicated by your rising sign. And I feel it's important to go into this placement in depth because with rising sign, it's so often written off as it's your mask, it's your mask. So much more than just how people perceive you. It is how you perceive the world, the lens by which you view life through, the portions of life that you could personally identify with. But if you could just keep in the back of your head, if you gain any value from this video, if you feel seen, if you feel heard, consider dropping a like, commenting below, subscribing only if you want to, notifications, any little nudge that you can give is so appreciated by me. So you guys know you're blessed, right? You guys know that you're like really blessed? Okay, glad we cleared the air on that because Sag rising is a fantastic placement to have. Truly, Sagittarius is the energy of the archer. So it's a centaur, the archetype, and it is half horse and half man. And it has a bow and arrow in its hands, and it has an arrow pointed somewhere in the distance. It is said that the centaur, the archer, whatever you like to call it, has that arrow pointed at the truth. And it's meant to symbolize the Sagittarian quest for the truth. And this is why Sagittarius energy is honest, but idealistic. As a Sagittarius rising, you see the world as this magical quest, as this adventure, bringing you closer and closer to your personal truth. Because that's what Sagittarius is after, truth. And the modalities that Sagittarians find it are different. Some Sagittarians find that sensation of truth within academia. They love that feeling of learning new things and bolstering their mental space. Some Sagittarians will find it through spirituality, getting closer to what they feel like is their purpose, their unique truth. Some Sagittarians will feel it through traveling, interacting with all sorts of people to find that thread of commonality, of truth in between all humans. Regardless of how it is that you search, there is a desire in how you view the world to get closer to your personal truth. Now, with Sagittarius energy, you are very honest because, Sagittarius, even though you're ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and generosity and abundance and all these great things, and you're a very optimistic, positive sign, your optimism isn't derived from this energy of ignoring the bad stuff. You're not like a positive Pollyanna who just, wants to use toxic positivity. Not at all. You want to get closer to the truth of the matter, the heart of the matter, right? You want to get closer to the truth of the matter, the heart of the matter. With the Sagittarius rising, this would indicate that you have Scorpio within your 12th house. And Scorpio, if you're familiar with the energy, it's just the deep, transformative phoenix of the zodiac. It goes super deep, it's super raw. And with 12th house, it's sort of like the hidden house or subconscious mind. And so when you consider it that way, it's almost like this energy where you recognize the deep, dark underbelly of human existence. And it's not that you ignore it, but you choose to see the good in the world anyway. You choose to find things to be excited about. You choose to find new adventures to embark upon. You are like a human air freshener with your ability to be optimistic in times that other people aren't finding anything to look forward to, with your natural positivity. And again, a Sagittarius rising, in its best expression, won't be dishonest about the truth of the matter. They recognize the truth in the matter and they realize that life is so short, so they're gonna see the good in the situation. Now, with this truth-seeking energy, this sort of gets us to the preacher-like sensation of a Sag rising, because and it's not that you necessarily need to be religious. Certainly, a lot of Sagittarians can be because there is that desire for truth, right? But when I say preacher, it's like Sagittarius, because they are looking for their personal truth, they want to share it as they go, and they can be very idealistic, and they can be at times rigid to their own belief systems because it's very important to them. Like Sagittarius risings can't look at the world and just see mundane tasks. They'll be so bored. They want to feel like life is something that they're growing into, transforming into, evolving into. They can't feel like things are just mundane or the same thing every day. They need that feeling of adventure, and they need that sensation of getting closer to the truth. So if their truth and someone else's truth differ, they can get into that sensation of trying to preach or debate with people to convince them that their way is the way. And not saying that every Sag rising will want to lose their energy on that necessarily, but there is this desire to get closer to their personal truth and maybe preach or tell other people about that truth as they embark upon them in their adventures. So you see the world through the lens of adventure, through quest, through expansion. Because like I mentioned earlier, Sag rising, the scariest place for Sag rising to be is in the same place a year later. There is this energy about looking out at the world where they need to feel like they are moving closer. They need to feel like they're getting closer, whether it is getting closer to their personal truth or getting closer to their personal belief systems or just getting closer in life. They can't be stagnant. They can't be still. So like I said, the modality can differ. A lot of Sagittarius love travel. A lot of Sagittarius love academia, love spirituality. The way by which it manifests differ, but the thread throughout it is that Sagittarians feel that life is too short to stay in one place. They're the centaur, right? They are on the move. That arrow is back and about to explode outward. They want to constantly feel like they are expanding and moving into something. So you as a Sag rising, you see the world through the lens of growth, and you have an optimistic mindset that is very glass half full, that tends to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sagittarius is an archetype that is associated with luck, and it can be just derived from you seeing the best in any situation, and maybe that manifest good things towards you, who knows? But with Sagittarius risings, they'll sometimes have the most interesting experiences that happen to them. It's like, how did that happen to you? You're so lucky. It's you expect good things to happen to you and then they just do. Your ruling planet is Jupiter. So for more information, you'll want to look at the sign Jupiter is in, as well as the house it is placed in. This will tell you about your own priorities, mindset, perspective, looking out at the world. Now, if your Sag rising energy is out of check, because unfortunately, even Sag risings, there are some drawbacks to every single rising sign. If a Sag rising is out of check, or I could say the lower vibration of Sag rising energy would be someone who is reckless. Like I said, there's that desire for expansion, more, this adventure, this quest. There can be this sensation of more. And that can certainly spiral into some negative manifestations. Some Sagittarius risings can be big gamblers or just individuals who take really reckless risks because there is that desire to expand, right? And for a lot of times, because they are a lucky energy, a lot of times things can work out for them, so they can overplay their hand or go beyond because they expect that sort of result every single time. And some Sag risings can go to excess, whether it is gambling, whether it is spending, whether it is eating. Because you are ruled by Jupiter, the biggest planet of the zodiac, the planet of luck and abundance, you like it big. You like to live larger than life. You like to live it to its fullest. And sometimes Sagittarius can struggle with this energy of when is enough, or not necessarily knowing their limits. There's this energy in that life is for the living and larger than life, and this quest for experience, which sometimes can have negative ramifications, whether it's on their waistline or their bank account. There is a desire for more, which definitely can tilt towards excess. This can definitely be an energy where you can be sometimes brutally honest or blunt. Like I said, it's important for you to live an honest existence as you get closer to your personal truth, the facets of life that feel very true and very resonant for your soul and your journey. And with that devout connection to the truth, sometimes you can be a little too blunt when conveying what it is that you feel is the truth to other people. So that can be another negative manifestation of this. Sagittarius risings aren't always detail-oriented people. They aren't always great when it comes to discipline. There's this belief in life. There's this excitement for life, and sometimes the more dull parts of it don't interest them as much as the big picture of it all. And how the world sees you. So as a Sagittarius rising, people see the optimistic, bubbly, positive energy that I spoke about. You are a human air freshener. You come into the room and you just inject it with comedy and lightness and fun and this sense of adventure, almost like anything can happen. People might notice your big ideas, that you are quite the visionary, that you are optimistic, and it's like you dare to dream. Like, you might not necessarily be a detailed person, but you dare to take it there. You dare to paint this big picture around what could be possible and launch out ideas where other people would hesitate from going to that extent. That's what you are here to do, Sagittarius rising, is convey the big picture, get us excited about that big picture. People can see you as someone who is very cultured, very wise. You can be someone who's super knowledgeable, intelligent. Appearance-wise, I tend to notice Sagittarian rising's nose, and I never mean this with shade ever. I just find that it's a good technique to sort of be able to tell someone's rising sign. Sagittarius risings sort of look like horses in the most beautiful way. Sagittarius risings are so beautiful. There's like a narrow face and their nose is sort of pronounced, which is sort of like horse-like. I tend to notice a lot of like almond-shaped eyes, and they tend to have a very open face, open countenance, kind of like a cheerful expression, not as serious as we talked about Capricorn risings last week. It's not as serious. There's a lightness to them. There's like a fun. Even if they're going through something, there is this lightness to their facial structure. They tend to be tall. They tend to be slender, and their legs, you tend to like sort of notice their legs. Sometimes they can like gallop instead of walk. They might have pronounced thighs or just have very long, slender legs is how you can tell a Sagittarius, but a little bit thicker in the thighs and the hips. Sometimes you can really notice the Sagittarian legs and tell, like they tend to have defined hips and thighs, tend to be like sort of long, slender bodies. I tend to see Sag risings because they just look like they're about to start laughing. I mean, the Sagittarius humor is truly unmatched. And there's almost this sensation with Sag risings, there's this openness on their face where they're not hiding anything, right? Like I said with Sagittarius rising, they're very honest, they're very forthright. They'll tell you how it is that they feel. And their faces sort of have this open countenance, and it feels like their lips are sometimes just sort of up, like they're about to start laughing. Like Sagittarius, with their desire to see the good in people and see the good in life, they will find moments of comedy in everything. So if you also notice someone who's cracking everyone up and just making jokes, that might be a Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius rising, you are the professor, you are the wise sage, you are the mystic. You are here to take us out of the humdrum parts of everyday life and remind us to dream, remind us to idealize, remind us to stay connected on the big picture, remind us to inject our experience with new adventures because life is too short not to. So whether Sagittarius rising is on a jet on their way to Bali for a meditation retreat, at the top of a classroom about to lecture on philosophy, or on a 5-month backpacking trip trying to get one with nature, there's always going to be this thread of wanting to expand deeper into what they feel is their personal truth and allow that to lead the way. My mom is a Sagittarius rising, and one time we were taking a personality quiz, and there was one question that said, do you agree with this statement? When you walk into a room, the party starts. And my mom was like, obviously, yeah. And then she turned to us and she's like, isn't that how everyone feels? And I'm like, no, Mom, that is not how I feel. I go along the corner and try not to be observed. And that's my mom. Like, when she enters a party, she brings the party. She brings the fun. She brings the lightness. She's a Sagittarius rising. That is what they do. They are so funny. They have this lust for life where they know that life is for the living, and they remind us to take ourselves out of how serious we take everything and find the adventure, find the fun, find the new experience, find the optimism. That's why I just love Sagittarius rising so much.
I don't know what my deal has been, but I just keep forgetting to film outros. But I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by the video. I totally accidentally am wearing my bird sweatshirt while I'm editing this because one thing about Sagittarius rising is true is that they value their own freedom to be able to navigate the world free as a bird and have really fascinating life experiences. So I hope you gained value out of this video. I hope you learned more about your ascendant and all of the power that it holds. In 2 weeks' time, I'll be doing Scorpio, moving backwards through the series and having a great time with it. So thank you for making it to the end and for my lack of outro. Take care.